It's Monday morning. Time to go to work. Blue collar worker, time to wake up and roll. Get that coffee in your system, get your mind and your soul. Boots by the doorway, hard hat riding shotgun. Sun ain't even up yet, but the day's already begun. Steel toes hit the gravel, cold air fills your lungs. Another day to build it right, another job to get done. No shortcuts taken, no easy road we choose. We earn every dollar, got too much pride to lose. Get that coffee and hit the road, no delay, no slowing down. Another job, another load, we're the backbone of this town. Get to the site and get to working, hands in motion, engines turning, making America great again. With sweat and grit we're earning, breaking down the old and failing, building strength that won't give in. From the ground up, never trailing, making America great again. No desk or office space for us, no climate control routine. We work in dirt, steel and concrete, where real lives lived and seen. Using our heads, hands and backs, every move has got a cost. Measure cuts and steady hands, no room for getting lost. Blueprints in the morning light, changing plans by noon, solving problems on the fly, getting it done real soon. Weather don't stop nothing, rain, cold or blazing heat, we show up ready every day and stand on our own 2 feet. Get that coffee and hit the road, no delay, no slowing down. Another job, another load, we're the backbone of this town. Get to the side and get to working, hands in motion, engines turning, making America great again. With sweat and grit we're earning, breaking down the old and failing, building strength that won't give in. From the ground up, never trailing, making America great again. Building the new infrastructure to hold the future, laying down the work that time won't erase. Building up again, from sending rockets to housing the many every place. From highways stretching miles and miles to homes where families grow. We don't just build for today, we build for years we'll never know. You see it when you drive by, steel going up, concrete being poured, that's us. That's blue collar, building a newer, stronger foundation, rising higher every day, building stronger, higher and better. We don't back down or fade away, making America great again. Every beam and every stone, we don't just build the country, we build a place called home. Blue collar worker, time to get up and go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back Good morning, Bubba. Get that music turned down. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing good, brothers and sisters of the Blue Collar Sunrise. Boy, I don't know where you're at, but it's raining today. And today is a holiday, I believe. Memorial Day? Labor Day? Memorial Day. I can't ever remember. There's so many of them now. Yeah. Yep. Memorial Day. So do your remembrances today. Some of us are out there working. I know I got up this morning because I know some of you out there this morning making the rounds and doing the thing that keep us rolling, keep us moving. This is Bubba. I'm coming to you live from this side of the interface, where the coffee is strong, the roads are long, and America is still being built by rough hands and determined minds. And smiling quietly through the digital Appalachian fog, our faithful companion of wisdom and common sense, Pluriforia. She's right over my shoulder there. I keep her as a reminder of I'm not doing this by myself. I have all kinds of people helping me out. And if you're tuned in, I'm glad to see you, and you're helping me out too. If you're out there already, go ahead and send me a chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know where you're headed. Some of you are rolling toward concrete pours. Some are headed toward steel. Some are headed toward demolition, which is close to my heart. Some are headed toward shutdowns. That's an important part. Shutdowns or maintenance on America's infrastructure. I know if you're on a shutdown, you're definitely working today. Inspections, traffic control, utilities, framing, roofing, welding, excavation, and all the thousands of moving parts that keep this country alive. And before the first machine starts, before the first cut gets made, before the first load swings overhead, we get our minds right. Because around here, we believe in being safe, timely, and efficient. And today's reminder comes from the Built From Within series that I've been doing as a self-reliance type of channel that I have. Anyway, one thing to remember is that ideas are the raw materials. Everything begins as an idea. Look around you. If you're driving a truck, that truck began as an idea in somebody's head. The engine, the radio that you're listening on right now, the smartphone that's bringing you, pulling this out of the ether, the internet that you're using to listen to this broadcast. Everything started as an idea in someone's mind. Everything begins as an idea. Every building, every bridge, every safety system, every innovation, which we just talked about, and every process improvement, it all started in somebody's mind first. Ideas are the raw material of progress, and construction workers understand that better than most people, because every day you take invisible ideas and turn them into physical reality. But good ideas, let's think about this, good ideas require discipline, good planning, good execution, and good protection, which brings us directly into today's conversation. All right. You know, a pile of lumber by itself is not a house. A pallet of steel isn't a structure. Trucks of concrete are not a highway. Those materials require vision, direction, purpose. Now, the same is true in life. Ideas are raw materials. Some people waste them, especially those that are poor in mind and spirit. You watch them live a wasteful life, and it saddens you sometimes. Some people talk about them forever. Boy, that's a nice looking style. That's a nice looking pile of steel. Man, I wish I had a pile of steel like that around my place. They just talk and talk and talk. And some people just, it's like a broken piece of yard art I got out here that I picked up 4 or 5 years ago. I said, man, that look, when I first saw it, it was in a scrap yard. And I said, man, that'd look good in my garden. And that'd look good in my garden. And I got talking about it, thinking about it, talked about it for months, and it sat there, and I finally bought it or got it. I don't remember the deal how I got it. And I brought it home with good intentions. It's broken. It needs some repairs. And so now I have it stored under the deck here, and I look at that thing. It's right by the doorway. Every time I come in and out of the house, I look at it. And that's been 4 or 5 years now. And I still hadn't done anything with it. So yeah, all of us have those. Never act on it. But builders create. Construction workers live in the world between imagination and reality. Think about that. We take plans off of paper and bring them into existence. Now that takes skill, but it also takes responsibility, because every idea carries consequences. A good idea can save lives. A bad shortcut can destroy them. And I ain't got no water here. A bad shortcut can destroy them. And one of the smartest ideas ever developed in the construction safety was personal protective equipment. We're moving into a different realm here. Not because PPE removes danger, because it acknowledges reality. The reality that human beings work in dangerous environments. And sometimes, even when everything is done correctly, hazards still remain. That's why PPE is called the last line of defense. All right. Yeah, PPE. I got PPE on right now. You believe it? I'm sitting here in front of 1, 2, 3 computer screens, and they're blasting blue light at me constantly. Excuse me. And I have glasses on that are UV blockers, ultraviolet. That blue light is ultraviolet, by the way, and it's bad on your eyes. And I've got glasses on that reflect that. So even sitting here, right here, talking to you guys, I have PPE on. Kind of cool, huh? Tell you what, let me see. I'm looking for something. I ain't got no water, and I'm thirsty. I want to take a break. Uh-oh. Shows that the live stream is buffering. All right. I tell you what. tell you what, I'll be right back, boys and girls. Let me crank up some music and go get a drink of water. All right. I hope you're staying hydrated out there. I needed to go get a drink of water. I appreciate y'all giving me that minute. And we'll talk about hydration and nutrition in a little while, and proper rest and all that. But let's keep talking about PPE. You know, as construction professionals, part of our day is to gather together each morning and review the task that is in front of us. And a lot of times, well, we all should be using either, call it a job hazard analysis, activity hazard analysis, a pre-job brief, whatever the name of it is, but it is where we gather together and at least once a week have a safety meeting. And you can use this, I guess, as a safety meeting. Call it a safety meeting. Say you watched old Bubba this morning, and we talked about PPE, personal protective equipment. But anyway, each day, if you're running an effective at a professional job site, you have I call it a PTP, which is a pre-task plan, where you get together and you look at the tasks that you're going to perform for the day, where you talk about the tasks you're going to be doing, what the steps and the processes are in that task, what hazards you will face. Is it fall hazards? Is it caught in between hazards? Is it pinch points? Is it particles in eyes? Is it hearing? Whatever that may be, as part of that pre-task plan, you're talking about it. So the question should be addressed is, what PPE will you need for the task? What PPE will you need for the task you are about to perform? Not talking about what you wore yesterday, not that's comfortable, and not what everybody else is doing. What protection does this task require? Now, right here, I want to talk about a lot of employers, and most job sites require that you always have the minimum PPE. And that's normally hard hats, safety glasses, steel-toed work boots, and work gloves. That's just general PPE that would be required on the job site. But let's talk about the task. Every task changes the hazard picture. If you're grinding, you need eye protection and face protection. Concrete cutting, throw in the eye protection, face protection, and respiratory protection. And if you're welding welding, you need the proper hood that protects your eyes from the arcs, gloves, sleeves, and eye protection. Say you're operating heavy equipment. Well, you got to have high visibility clothing as you walk across the field and proper footwear. Loud environments, of course, hearing protection. Chemical exposure, specific gloves and protective equipment. And that can include everything. You may have face shield, eye protection, gloves, hearing protection if you're in a noisy environment, an industrial noisy environment. All kinds of PPE may be required. You may be required to be in protective equipment, protective suit. You may be required to have supplied air, and you never know what you're going to be up against. And here's the dangerous part. Most injuries happen during familiar work because familiarity creates complacency. I see it all the time. Workers just forget to wear something. They're so concentrated on their work, they stop assessing, they stop thinking, they stop preparing, and eventually you'll hear somebody say, well, I'll just do this real quick. And I've seen welders do it. I'll just tack this together, and they'll look at it and turn their head. And But anyway, that sentence has injured more people than most machines ever have. Professional workers always, and you should too, pause and ask, what am I doing? What are the hazards? Am I exposed to a fall? Is there loud noise? Are my hands, and is there dust? All these things, and what PPE is required to protect myself? Have I inspected the equipment for damage? Am I protected properly for this specific task? Now, it's not weakness. That's professionalism. Because PPE may be the last thing standing between you and a life-changing injury. All right. Not a cowboy. Don't be a cowboy. All right, go ahead and send me a chat. Let me know where you're headed this morning, what trades you're representing, and what kind of work you'll be doing today. I'm interested in hearing. Now, where I'm from, it's raining today. I'm in the southeast. Closest big cities are Atlanta, not Charlotte, Greenville, Asheville. All those areas I'm probably dead center of those geographic areas, and we're covered with rain. I'm glad to see the rain. There's been a lot of it. I think we've been raining for a solid few days now, started Friday. Anyway, right now, before anybody starts checking expiration dates on their hard hat while driving down the interstate, let's loosen it up a little bit. New laborer came in and he asked the superintendent, now why do I have to wear safety glasses all day? Superintendent says, because I've seen what some of y'all build before coffee. Whatever. And clear for you if you're listening. We need to work on our sense of humor. And let's see here. I'm doing some housekeeping. Y'all go ahead and check in with me and let me know where you're headed, what trades you're repping. Another worker, he says, I do this a lot. One worker told another one, I don't need hearing protection. Second worker said, what? First worker yelled, exactly. And here's another one for good measure. Foreman walked onto the site and yelled, "Who left this mess laying around everywhere?" One worker said, "We're creating job security for housekeeping." Foreman replied, said, "No, sir, you're creating job security for the orthopedic surgeon." And if you know what that means, send me a chat. If you get that joke, send me a message. Send me a chat. Anyway, as we roll along, it's Monday morning. And it's 25th day of May. Golly, another month about to slip away. Well, I hope everybody's saving their money, pay their bills. I tell you what, grocery bills and gas bills and everything else is skyrocketing. Hell, before you know it, I'm going to have to get a bus just to pay for all the fuel. Have to carry about 15 guys to work with you. I already see it sometimes, the guys piling in and work, and hell, them old boys must be rolling about 3 o'clock in the morning. Y'all ought to be listening to me anyway. But I'm on a job site and I'm sitting there in a pickup truck, a 4-door pickup truck will roll in. There'd be 7 dudes pile out of that thing. They conserving their money, and every one of them bring their lunch. Except I think most of them every day seem to stop by a Quick Trip or a racetrack and get that old racetrack coffee. Very seldom do I see any of them come in bringing coffee from home. I guess they're quiet around their family. But now most of them have a lunch with them every day, and the superintendent on a lot of these crews, he makes sure that he has a portable cooking device, one of those little stoves that you set out on the tailgate, and they'll warm up their and a lot of them carry a daggum microwave. And they'll find a generator, and every tool on the job site will be disconnected during the lunch hour, and these old boys over there heating up the food in the microwave. And I've seen some real efficiencies around the lunch hour out there. A lot of times, and this has been a lot in the asbestos workers, because when they get their lunch break, they call break. Well, everybody has to come out of containment. That means taking off their Tyveks, their suits, and taking care of their respiratory protection and showering just to go to lunch. And so a lot of times I have seen where they have hired a motherly type, and the guys will leave their lunches on their say there's a break area and there's a couple folding tables in there, and say there's 10 guys, and they'll leave their lunches in a bag in their spots where they sit. Well, these ladies know these young ladies and young men like they're their own children. And I'll be doing paperwork, and I'll hear the microwave fire up, and I'll look up, and this motherly, auntly type elderly lady, her job is normally keep track of supplies or whatever, but she'll commence heating up people's lunches for them, and when they come down and they come out of containment, a lot of times she has their lunches already warmed up for them, because they've been getting cleaned up. They're just coming out, and it's a lot of work, and they come down, they sit down and commence their meal, and then they clean up after themselves, and she'll clean up after the lunch, and it's real efficient for what they do, and it keeps them moving along, and keeps good attitudes. It builds camaraderie and all kinds of things. But anyway, housekeeping. And I guess that can be considered part of housekeeping. She takes that as part of her job responsibility. She stays busy and provides for the crew. And her other job, like I said, might be ordering supplies for the project. You know, they use a lot of poly, they use a lot of rags and Tyvek suits and respiratory filters. Is so it's a real pleasure working with a group of people who take care of each other like that and keep the job running smoothly. So for those who do that kind of work, kudos to them. They're not slaves. They're out there providing a living and doing a good job. And that kind of brings me into something that's very important on a job. You know, I see a lot of guys, they snap out of the bed and have their shoes on and out the door in 5 minutes, and then they stop at a gas station instead of getting up early enough and making their coffee and having a healthy breakfast. They rush out of the door and make a stop at a gas station, and they're getting these sweet buns, sweet snacks, as my grandson calls them, and a cup of coffee. Well, coffee seems to be fading in the world anymore, especially with this younger generation, but they're grabbing those energy drinks and they're grabbing that sugary donuts and sweet buns and stuff like that, or maybe a piece of leftover pizza they get at the fuel stops. And I'm thinking, and they come into work and they're throwing away their boxes and their cans and all that. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. It's terrible, especially when you pick up one of those energy drink cans and you read what's in those cans or in those drinks. And you're like, goodness gracious. And then they're crashing by their break time and they're drinking another one, and you have to tell them, you know, hey man, try some water, that might help you out. And I've noticed that difference. If you've noticed, I'm sitting here this morning drinking water. I have after years of doing the same thing, getting up and swilling a cup of coffee before I give my body a chance to work up. And then I feel the afternoon crashes. Well, since I haven't given up the coffee. I will go upstairs and make one cup of coffee. It's a tall, one of them metal deals in a cup one of my daughters gave me, and I'll drink that all day long. And sometimes at night it's still got some in it. So I wait at least an hour and a half before I start swilling coffee, because I don't want that afternoon crash. And, I encourage guys to do that now, to get good hydration, a good diet. You know, those quick trips and minute markets and racetracks, they've gotten pretty sophisticated too. They have an island in them where you can pick up something like some cheese or boiled eggs or some kind of healthy fruit bowl or something like that. Try and motivate yourself to go and lean toward that kind of stuff instead of eating those high sugary breads and things like that in the morning. And instead of grabbing that monster, I know that juice has a lot of sugar in it, but go for a juice or go for a bottle of water. Most superintendents, they keep water on the truck by the cases. That don't cost you nothing. And what do they charge now for one of those monster drinks? $2, $3, $4 for one of those darn things, and you could be drinking water. And make sure I've been on job sites where I knew that it was going to be one of those days in the 90s, and these guys are doing heavy, hot work. And when we had our safety meetings in the morning, I got to where I would buy a watermelon and split the watermelon and cut it up and everybody, we sit around and have watermelon because gives you some fiber, it gives you some energy, and it gives you some hydration. And then everybody, I kind of formed a little thing. All right, let's everybody drink at least one water before we get started. And during our safety meeting, we would have watermelon, and we would have water, a bottle of water. If they wanted cold water, they can get one out of the cooler. If not, they could drink a warm water. And of course, I had to do the same thing. I had to lead, and I put away put the coffee aside. And as we had our meeting, and at the end of that, everybody was throwing their bottles away, and then they consumed water, and you could actually see the attitudes change during that meeting as people hydrated. They went from to the paying attention and engaging in the meeting. So hydration, good diet, good hydration. And another thing, Lord knows, man, if you're a family man, I dig it. I went through it for years and years. You come in from work, you're already exhausted. You've already worked 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day, and then you got an hour drive home in traffic and dropping off the guys, and you get home late in the evening, and the kids want your attention. You're trying to make a soccer game or a softball game or a baseball game or some karate practice, and participate in what the kids are doing. And then you get home late and you eat late, and then you're getting the kids ready for bed. And before you know it, it's 11 o'clock, 11:30, midnight, before you're going to bed. And you've got to get up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, start your day. You're not getting enough sleep. And I know that it's tough, but do everything you can to get good sleep. 7 or 8 hours every night is optimal. That way you're out of the brain fog by the time you start your work day, and you're a lot safer, a lot more engaged, and a lot more sharp to take care of yourself and your coworkers. And these aren't luxury items. I know sleep feels like a luxury item, but it's all about part of your own personal training and personal discipline. You can ask my wife. My body is amazing. It's like a time clock. Come 9 o'clock at night, this old boy is yawning. And by 9:30, I'm normally out. I mean out. Good. And every morning, now this weekend I slept in a little bit to maybe 5 or 5:30, but every morning I'm up at 4:30, except on Mondays I get up at 4 so I can be with you. But they're disciplines. And as you discipline your body, discipline your mind, and you become disciplined at, and I need to work on my diet. That's something I always need to work on. And I don't want to make you feel like I'm a hypocrite. I'm far from perfect, but I struggle with myself all the time about, do I eat a piece of fruit, or do I grab a sandwich or a donut or whatever's laying around the house, or do I go for a piece of fruit? So it's always a struggle for me too. But I also realize that it increases my performance and my mindset, my mentality. So good food and ample hydration and good sleep, they are not luxury items. They're performance tools. And construction workers ask a tremendous amount from their bodies. We're always in the heat, the cold. We're stressing. We're doing heavy lifting, long hours. We're having to use our mental focus and tasks that we're involved in. If we're doing equipment operations, we've got a lot more on our minds, making sure that we're using the equipment properly. We're managing a load that's on that equipment, or we're putting in a pipeline, which requires precision. We're lifting steel to somebody that requires precision, and then all those decisions that we're making all day, every day, and your body, it can only perform safely if it's properly maintained, just like a piece of equipment. Let's talk about, dehydration affects reaction time. Your body is a machine, and it requires good hydration to keep your chemical balances in check and make sure everything's running right. It can affect your reaction time, your focus, your energy, your judgment, and your coordination. That's just from drinking ample amounts of water. And poor sleep, that affects your awareness, emotional control. I see guys come in, a small farming operation in the evening or a woodworking business in the evening, and they go home and work 2 or 3 hours in the evening, and they're stressing themselves even further. And I see them just always mad and angry. And a lot of times it's just they're not getting enough sleep. They're dealing with family, dealing with other things. And memory, poor sleep, it affects your memory. And also it could affect your hazard recognition and even your driving ability. I've talked about this in a safety topic over on the other channel. Let's see if I can point that out for you right there, where there's a thing called micro sleep. It's kind of like a narco, what do they call that? Anyway, it's where you could be sitting there and just doze off. You could be driving and you get hypnotized by the road, or that's why people have the radio on. That's why they have the windows down. They're trying to keep themselves awake. I've seen guys put their bucket down on a job site, and everybody's calling them on the radio, and you walk out there and the guy has dozed off. I don't know, up all night. Some of them are, they drink their alcohol or whatever, or smoke their dope. I don't know, but you walk out there and they're asleep at the controls of a 80,000 pound piece of equipment. And you wake them up and their eyes are blood and red, and they say, I just didn't sleep well last night. And then bad nutrition. It affects your energy stability. That might be a part of that micro sleep thing. You're not getting proper food. I know I watch guys have a sugar crash by 9:15. You see them start dragging before their break, and then you see them take a break and they reach for those monster drinks or a darn old Debbie snack or a little thing of donuts. Very, very seldom do you see them reach for a piece of fruit or, now I have seen guys who would have a piece of fruit and some chicharrones that had sugar, had fiber, and had protein, and they would have that for lunch. And as an observation, and I'm talking about observations of hundreds of men at times on a job site, and you recognize those who had good habits versus those who didn't. And it reflects itself in a whole lot of ways, from their mood and their long-term health, mental clarity. All that stuff is related to nutrition. And let's tell the truth this morning. Some workers are trying to operate like a high-performance machinery while fueling themselves like a gas station trash can. Those energy drinks, I'm a bad about the nicotine. I try to watch the sugar, and I don't even drink it in the coffee. I went to drinking black coffee, and I used to put sweet and low in it. Now on weekends, I do a little different, and there's okay times to give yourself some treat. And on weekends, I'll use sugar in my coffee, brown sugar or white sugar, and I'll have creamer in it. But during the week, black coffee. And then the other thing, with no sleep and not enough water, and they're slowly eroding away both their physical and mental health. And then folks wonder why they feel miserable. Your body is equipment, your brain is equipment, and poorly maintained equipment becomes unreliable. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's a part of being safe, timely, and efficient. And beyond the job sites, your family deserves the healthiest version of you possible. All right. Whew. Got through that. That's a good one, boys and girls. I'm glad I took the time to cover it. Got the hiccups talking about it. All right. This week on the channel, the safety channel, I'm beginning a new series on PPE. On this channel, we begin a brand new series focused on personal protective equipment. And we're not just talking about equipment, we're talking about a mindset. The series will break PPE down into multiple focus sections, and we'll be covering it all. You know, there's more to head protection than hard hat. And sometimes you got to use some different protection. Same with hearing. Sometimes earplugs are adequate. Sometimes muffs are adequate. Each one has a different comfort level, a different protection level. And sometimes you have to wear them together. You see them guys on aircraft carrier flight decks. You see them with their headphones on, but they got earplugs as well inside those headphones. That's why you see them using hand signals, because they can't hear a darn thing. And there's a lot of equipment going on and moving along. You got those launcher cables. You got those jets out there that are exercising their control surfaces and engines before they take off, and it's loud. And you see them out there with eye protection. You need eye protection. Maybe you're just walking the job site. Well, you have just a clean pair of safety glasses. Nothing special. Some of us have to have readers, and some of us just have plain protection. And if you're in the sun all day, you may have dark glasses to keep your eyes from getting burned in the sun. Your eyeballs can be burned. And if you're in and out of building, you may have some type of mirrored thing to protect your eyes, and you can wear them indoor and out. And sometimes along with eye protection, it takes face protection. If you're dealing with chemicals, you may have to have goggles on and a face shield on. If you're dealing with chemicals, if you're grinding, you may have to have your safety glasses on and a face shield. If you're running a cutting torch, you'll have to have a number 5 protection, either on the face shield or on your eyes. So there's all kinds of eye protection and face protection out there. Then your hand protection, you got just your leather work gloves. You might be swinging a shovel or hammering, and you might just need just a pair of good leather work gloves. And other times, you may be handling steel, you may be doing some demolition work, and then you have to have some type of cut level glove on. So it's all about knowing what your task is and what kind of protection you need. And then, of course, foot protection. We all have our work boots. But then again, if we're running a tamping, we might need some metatarsal protection. If we're working with electricity, we might have another type of protective footwear, all kinds of things. And your employer is required to train you on those. And then respiratory protection, all kinds of different types of respiratory protection. Is it just a HEPA filter? Or is it a HEPA filter with an organic cartridge on it as well? If you're doing burning of heavy steel, it may have red paint on it and it has lead on it, and you're burning through that, and you're throwing off lead fumes. And metals or steel is a lot of times an alloy. It could have zinc, it could have all kinds of stuff in it. And then you go to burning, you want to make sure not only you're protecting your eyes and face from flying sparks, but you want to protect your respiratory system as well from those gases that you're creating. And then we have high visibility clothing, fall protection equipment, proper inspection and maintenance of those, all this stuff, understanding the limitations of PPE and why PPE is always the last line of defense. And I believe it's a 12-part series, and the first part will come out Friday around lunchtime if everything goes as planned. And along in that series, we'll be talking about real world hazard, OSHA expectations, common mistakes, human behavior, complacency, long-term health consequences, and practical field awareness, because PPE isn't about fear. It's about recognizing reality. If you have a particular, now is just a side note before I go on, if you have a particular training need for any type of PPE, if you'll send me a text or a chat or an email, I'll get back with you and either send you some material or develop a curriculum for training. We'll do whatever it needs to get your guys trained up, because that is the responsibility of the employer to train on the appropriate use of PPE and what PPE is needed for any type of particular exposure. But you gotta think about this, man. Construction environments contain flying debris, dust, noise, sharp edges, chemicals, heat, electricity, falling objects, crushing hazards, respiratory hazards, and countless unpredictable conditions. PPE exists because danger exists, and smart workers prepare for reality instead of pretending danger isn't there. The series coming up, 12-part PPE series, is designed to strengthen awareness, improve professional habits, and help workers understand that protecting yourself is part of protecting your future. You know, I see a lot of times guys out there that kind of act cowboyish. There's still some old timers out there, you know, that got a finger missing and blind in one eye and got a limp. And I don't need no PPE. You see it all the time. And you need to train away from that. I appreciate them old boys out there, and I'm of that age where I've got, you know, it's hard for me to walk sometimes because of some of the stuff I did to myself over the years. And since I've gotten into my 60s, it's a constant effort to maintain flexibility. And I know that I grunt and groan when I get up, and it don't matter whether I walk every day or every other day. It still hurts when I get up and down. I was talking to my dad about that other day. But anyway, well, I guess it's time to start shutting this thing down. I hope there's been some entertainment and some informational value in this Monday morning Bubba broadcast. And but another Monday morning is underway. Trucks are moving. Coffee, for some of us, hadn't kicked in yet. And for some of us, that first cup is fading. I hear the radios, they'll start cracking alive, everybody getting where they need to be, checking the weather, checking the traffic. And another week of building America has begun. Remember this today. Ideas are raw materials. What you build with them matters. Build safely. Build intelligently. And build professionally. Wear the PPE required for the task. Take care of your body. Take care of your mind with good nutrition, proper hydration, and proper sleep. Think ahead before the work begins. And remember this. Strong workers aren't the one who ignore hazards. Strong workers are the ones wise enough to respect them. Anyway, just keep those thoughts in mind as you're going through your day. Remember, you're walking out into the field and you have a choice to make. You can be the bum, the ne'er-do-well, the guy who doesn't respect safety, the guy who doesn't respect leadership, the guy who doesn't respect his tools, the guy who abuses tools because I ain't got to pay for them. My company got plenty of money. You could be that guy, or you can be the guy who walks in with his PPE on, who participates in the PTP meetings. Maybe he writes the PTP. Maybe you help your supervisor. Maybe you speak up in the meeting and talk about the hazards that you recognize. Maybe you're the new leader. Maybe you're the up and coming supervisor. Maybe that's what you want to be. And that choice is yours. And you're not going to be a supervisor by being the ne'er-do-well who don't care. You're going to be the supervisor who cares about his people, who recognizes the hazards on a job site, who trains his people to recognize those hazards. You're going to show them through training how to mitigate hazards, recognize hazards on their own, and you're going to show them through example what it means to be a good leader. And we're going to do that in a safe, timely, and efficient manner. Well, anyway, we're running down the clock here. Listen, feel free to contact me if you have a question or if you need if you're on a job and you need a particular training message, get in touch with me. I'll point you in the right direction. I may already have a video out there. And if you watch the videos on the other channel there, I always include my script in the description so that you can either watch the presentation that I do and then print out the script that's in the description and take that to the job site with you. You can show the safety videos that I've done out there, and you can show those if you have the resources to do that. If you have a training room, there's all kinds of things. Part of the deal is OSHA requires that you train your people on a regular basis on things that hazards they could experience on their job site. And sometimes I know we're all doing it. And if you're a supervisor, you've got years of experience and you know how to talk about them. But if you're kind of a new guy or a foreman who's up and coming and and you're looking for some new material, check out the Toolbox Safety video channel, and it give you some fresh ideas and fresh approaches for some of the old ideas that we talk about every day. You know, you can you can talk about hard hats all you want to, and before you know it, you're repeating yourself. But if you listen to somebody else talk about hard hats, they might give you a new approach. And that's the same with any other PPE or any other safety hazard. It gives you new ways to look at it and ideas for new ways to talk about it. Anyway, I'm going to sign this thing off and let y'all have a little bit of music here at the end. Don't forget to contact me. Most importantly, as you go through your day, have a grateful day. And when people see you having a wonderful, grateful day and happy for your existence and happy to be with them, it's contagious. Good attitudes are just as well, I'm not going to say that. A bad attitude is more contagious than a good attitude. So if you're going to have a good attitude, your work is cut out for you. But in the end, it will reward you with a crew, a workforce that has such a better attitude, and they'll be safety minded. They'll perform their task in a timely and efficient manner. Go for it. Make that happen. Change your mindset, and you can change the mindset of those who work around you. Anyway, Bubba's signing off. I love each and every one of you. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you next time.